And we're recording. Sorry, let me gather my thoughts here. Got a lot of notes. But the movie that I am copying today is called Ouija House. I'm still having trouble with my microphone, so I'm using my iPhone in the meantime. I hope that's okay. And sometimes through watching my old videos, and I just totally forget that I'm doing ASMR and start talking. So I'm gonna be, or at least try to be more aware of that. So okay, Ouija House. It's a movie I found on I want to say Hulu, maybe Amazon, not 100%, but I saw that it starred Misha Barton, who I don't really know. I think she was in the OC, right? And then kind of had like a downfall in her career afterward, and I don't know why. If it was like a drug thing or just her being crazy or having a drug thing. I don't know. But Misha Barton's in it. So this little movie, which is in perfect time for, Halloween season. It's October 22nd. We have Halloween coming up. So I feel like Ouija House is a good choice for this one. And again, I apologize if the sound sucks. I'm still trying to get my microphone figured out. I went to the Apple store today trying to get it figured out. They couldn't figure it out. So much for being geniuses, right? I mean, figure it out. Apple, figure it out. That's your new tagline. Whatever. Ouija House. More than happy to watch a shitty movie like this, because I was like, this looks bad. And it was definitely filmed on like cheap digital video. Like, it's not a film, it's a digital video. This seems very film student-y, and I don't want to hate on like DV, but like, if you don't do it right, it just looks like student film. So if you're gonna use digital video, you better go like full David Lynch in Empire Island with it. Or Inland Empire. That's what I'm trying to say. I was like, what the fuck is the word I'm looking for? You better go full Inland Empire with it. So yeah, we got the cheap DV, and Tara Reid shows up, of all people. And I don't want to hate on Tara, because I think that she's a cultural icon, especially from my time growing up. She was in Urban Legend in 1999, had one of the best kills in the movie. And, she did her whole thing on E Gone Wild. But I like Tara Reid. I don't care if her tit falls out at a red carpet, because she seems like a cool gal. At least to me. So, yeah, so Tara Reid shows up all sinister, and she's like wearing a hoodie, and they're like at this like big house. It's like a really beautiful house, really nice. And the guy answers like, I don't know if we should be here. And okay, yeah, so like, yeah, someone who's already in the house is like, I don't know if we should be here, but then invites her to do shots with him. So it's like, I don't know if we should be here, let's do shots. Okay. And then and then they play with the Ouija board, you know, Ouija, Ouija, as I believe it's pronounced. And I used to have a Ouija board growing up, and I have a good story for you if I decide to get to it. But either way, Ouija movies don't scare me. They're mostly pretty terrible. And that's why we're doing this ASMR right now, is because it's probably mostly pretty terrible. So yeah, they bust out the Ouija board, and this girl joins, and there's like a group of them now. I guess like multiple people have shown up that I forgot to write in my notes because I was just like, this is so dumb and so badly filmed. I don't care. However, there's a group of people there. One of them is named Claire. And this girl gets, as they're playing Ouija, she gets sucked into like a back room. Like she's in a chair and she's like gets sucked into a dark room, door closes. Very strange. So, I mean, we're already being hit. And this is supposed to be in, 1988. Although nobody in the scene looks like they're from 1988 at all. They look like, now. And so I was like, why is this 1988? Because they literally look like 2019. I know 2019 takes influences from the 80s for its fashion. However, in this instance, these people do not look like they're from actual 1988. So, there you have it. Okay, blah, blah, blah. And then, okay, so after, like, Claire gets, like, sucked into a room, Tara Reid gets thrown through a window, like, hardcore, by someone we can't see, while she's looking for some guy. So, and she says, I think the guy she's looking for is named Tomas, which is interesting because I believe there's a character later named Tomas, which may be a twist I didn't pick up on until I'm actually reading my notes right now. We'll see. Okay, so cut to present day. 2019-ish. We've got a daughter and a mom. The daughter's name is Lori, and she's, moving into the house, and her mom disapproves, despite the fact that Lori is going to college to become a paranormal psychologist. Is that a college class? I mean, maybe a class, but is it like a profession? And I'm saying this as someone who looked into it myself. I used to want to be a paranormal psychologist, and then I read all the stuff online, and it's like basically like, no. You have no future in that unless there's, television involved. So, we'll see. I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed. Ghost hunters, if you ever need a good new ghost hunter, I'm your guy. Because I love a good ghost. I grew up in a haunted house. A lot of people don't believe me, but I did. It was fucking weird. Maybe there's a scientific explanation for it. However, I have yet to find one. So, yeah, the paranormal excites me. I think it's interesting. I want to know more about it. Okay, so, you know, boo, 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 boo. And then, so the daughter Lori is talking to her mom and is basically kind of like suggesting that, like, hey, I'm gonna go to our aunt, my great aunt's house, and her mom is like, no, like, do not go there. No, absolutely, under no circumstances can you go there. Do not go there. Which, of course, is like when you tell a person that, it's like you're gonna want to go just a little bit more than you wanted to before. So, and as her mom's telling her this, she's actually like waving a crucifix in her face. Like she has a crucifix, and she's like, no, do not go to that house. So it's all very literal. But whatever, you know, the daughter is like, I'm a grown adult. She's not a child. She's not a teenager. She is probably like college age. And so she's just kind of like, whatever. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take my boyfriend with me. And at the same time, they invite their good friends Tina and Spencer to come along for the trip. So it's gonna be, what's her face? What's her name? Lori, Nick, the boyfriend, and then their friends who are also a couple together, and they're, Tina and Spencer. So yeah. So everyone's excited to go. They're like, we've heard so many stories about this place. This could be a really cool place to check out. Let's go see. So they do. And we get a little background somewhere between this scene and the next scene where someone's like, oh, like that's the cult house. Like there was a cult there, and the family's like, no, it was a witch's coven. It was not a cult. It was a coven that was taken over. They don't describe exactly how, we find out later, but they're basically like, they were good witches, and someone really messed the whole thing up. So, which is what happens when you live in communal living. I mean, ask Charles Manson. So, we're told this is a place where babies were sacrificed. That was a normal thing. If you had a baby, it was sacrificed for the blood of Satan or something. And, but it's a nice house. It's really nice. I'm like, I'd live there. It's a pretty nice house. And then the cousin Samantha welcomes them in, and Samantha is Misha Barton. And you know, I'm very, like I said in my previous video, I'm very out of the cultural zeitgeist. However, I do know that Misha Barton's from the OC. Even though I did not watch that show, I know where she's from, because when I was living in LA, it was a big deal when she had like this gigantic billboard at the Beverly Center for an ad for, I don't know, like Coach or Prada, and like Misha Barton was on it, and they're like, oh, she's back. So I'm like, I know who she is, just based on Hollywood gossip. Okay, so yeah, Samantha, Misha Barton, the cousin of Lori, welcomes them in. She's already there, and shortly thereafter, Tina gets like entranced by like this porcelain doll. Um, I don't know what it is. Porcelain dolls are creepy. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't know. This one like affected her where she was like staring into it. Which reminds me of a funny story. I'm sorry, I'm so burpy. I had a really good friend who had a roommate who was terrified of porcelain dolls. And that roommate, my friend, had a boyfriend at the time who collected porcelain dolls. So I took one of those porcelain dolls and I like just tucked it into the bed, like right in the middle, with the covers over it, just against the pillows. Just one little porcelain doll face looking out at you when you walk into your room and look at your bed. He freaked out. I wasn't expecting this level of freak out because like I feel like if I had known how much he would have freaked out, I probably wouldn't have done it, but at the time I thought it was funny. And so yeah, he ended up like taking the porcelain doll off his bed and like throwing it on the floor and like shattering it into a million pieces. And then of course like the boyfriend of my friend was like, he's really mad at you because, you know, you pulled that prank and now his porcelain doll is ruined. And I was like, okay, I do feel bad about that, but it's also kind of funny, right? I don't know. I think it's funny. I'm still laughing about it today. I was like 16 when I did this. It was so long ago. So yeah, blah blah blah. Lori finds a hidden room in this like outside shed of the house. Pause moment because we've been doing quotes from our little self-help book, which I think if we're gonna do ASMR, we should have something positive besides me just making fun of movies. This one says, I have discovered in life that there are ways of getting almost anywhere you want to go if you really want to go. And really is italicized. And that was by Langston Hughes. I think that's a bit of a privileged quote, but may work for some people. Okay, so anyway, blah, blah, blah. Jump scare. Tina is scary. She does a whole jump scare with Julie. And then, you know, Julie apologizes for making out with Lori's boyfriend in the past. Okay. Then everyone has dinner at the table. So, I guess that was over. Dinner discussion. Lori is here to write a book about the paranormal, because that's what she's studying in college. I don't know what college she goes to, where they offer that. Is that a thing in college? Paranormal psychology? In her world, it is. So, we'll just go along with that. So, you know, they all have dinner. Lauren's here to write a book about paranormal, and she lets them all know, you know, I know about the history of this house and how haunted things happen because my ancestors used to live here and they were witches, but they were good witches. They were coven. However, a warlock that they invited in came in and fucked the whole thing up. And he was just evil. And so it ruined the coven because of this warlock. You know, typical dinner conversation. So, and then there's like a flashback of the story, which is hilarious because it's just it's so cheaply done in the sense that it's like digital video, super clear, there's no filter on it, and it's like we're supposed to like see like a guy with like horns and blood on his face and expect to be scared, but it just looks like, I don't know, a really bad like music heavy metal video or something. It doesn't work. And we see some tits, some girls who are topless, and they're kind of part of this whole ooh Satan, very sick, very like late 60s or early 70s kind of thing. And innocent villagers have been captured, and they're losing their babies to this warlock. And so this warlock is taking innocent people from the village and killing their babies to sacrifice them to, I suppose, Satan. But I also wrote, what year is this? Because again, it's like, we're in 1988, then we're in present day. Now we're supposed to be back in, I don't know, the early 1900s, late 1800s. Everyone still looks like it's 2019. It just doesn't make any sense. So, where was the wardrobe on this? No, that's a real question. Where was the wardrobe on this? Where was the hair? Where was the makeup? And who decided to allow this to happen? Because it's not cool. So whatever. Lori is like, that sounds fun. Let's play Ouija. As we cut back to present day. But the board she brought is missing. And then she can't find it. She's like looking for the board. She's like, let's play Ouija. Can't find it. And then all of a sudden it shows up on the dinner table by itself. And let me just tell you a little something about Ouija from my personal experience. Never had that happen. That's crazy. But I've always been scared of that happening. I bought a Ouija board when I was probably, I don't know, like 13 years old or something. From like Toys R Us or, what was that mall store with the same name? Like, you tell me. I can't remember. But anyway, I bought a Ouija board against my mom's wishes. My mom's like, don't buy that. And I was like, but this is what I want. I want to communicate with spirits. And I'm like a fucking child. So, you know, whatever. She buys the $15 Ouija board for me. I play it a little bit. I don't really use it that much. And then, I busted it out a couple times when I was like around 17, 18, like senior year of high school. And that's when things got weird. Like, I had, one time a guy I played with the Ouija board, like, my light bulb went out. And then we also had 2 candles on each side of the board for light, aside from like the ceiling fan bulb. The light bulb burnt out, and then these 2 candles went out as well. And so that scared the shit out of me, because I was like, okay, we're tapping into something real. I don't know what this is. I was not expecting that. I thought we were just gonna be having a fun Ouija experience. It scared the shit out of me. So I never used the Ouija board after that. However, I kept it in my closet. And then I had a boyfriend when I was like 17 who, I went to the bathroom at some point, and then I came back in and he looked shocked. He was like, and I was like, what's going on? And he was like, your closet doors just opened by themselves. Because there was like It's like a pull-out closet. And he was like, there was a dark figure, like, standing there. And he was completely sober. He wasn't drunk. He wasn't on any type of drug at all. I didn't even do drugs back then. At least not with him. So, I was like, and I had never told him about any of this stuff, so I was like, that's really strange. And so after that, I got this, like, weird paranoia where I was like, I don't want to get rid of this Ouija board because I'm afraid of what it can do. And I took it all the way with me from Oklahoma City to Los Angeles. And then when I was finally ready to get rid of it, like years later, I just posted on Facebook, like, hey, I have this Ouija board. I think it's haunted. I'm just warning you now. You know, multiple people have had experiences with it, including me. So, you know, if you want it, come take it. Free. Just take it. And I found someone who took it. Thanks, Nathan. Don't play with that Ouija board, please. Okay, but that was my experience with Ouija. I'll never play it again, because I don't know. I got too freaked out. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Where are we at? That's right. Okay. Lori wants to play Ouija, but she doesn't know where it is. But then it shows up on the dinner table. And then, this, like, concerned, like, next door neighbor or somebody shows up and is like, you can't be here. You cannot be here. And, they're like, whatever, dude. And, Tina, I believe, is the one who's like, I'm not 100%, but one of them's like, we'll pay you $500 to go away. And I'm like, these people are like college aged. Where do you get $500 just pay someone to fuck off because you want to play Ouija? In what universe does that happen? Apparently this one. And so, whatever, he leaves. And the Ouija game commences. And, you know, they're trying to get it to contact them after several tries. And then it spells out PLAYGAME. Play game. So then we get a weird shot of this neighbor who's having a nervous breakdown in his car right after confronting these people. And then the mom of the daughter, the protagonist, Catherine, she is sleeping and all of a sudden her TV turns itself on, like, and it's like static. Like, you know, like the TV set that you see in Poltergeist, and it's like super loud. Speaking of, God, I keep going back to ghost stories, but I'm just telling you, I had this one weird stereo system from Best Buy that I think whatever that fucking Ouija thing I invited in was really into, because like it would be the middle of the night and then all of a sudden this stereo would turn itself on, put on like a specific CD, and then turn it all the way to the max. So it was like full volume. And so then my parents are like, why are you blasting metal music at like this hour? And I'm like, I didn't. Like, I woke up and my fucking stereo just started doing this. So there can be scientific explanations for this. I hope there are. But I will say, these things happened to me and it was scary. So you just never know. All I can say is don't play with Ouija boards, kids. Just don't. Honestly. If you want to talk to dead people, wait till you're dead. Okay, so, yeah. Mom's sleeping. The TV turns itself on. I'm trying to understand my notes. Sorry. Oh, Tomas is like, you know, they're in danger and I'm in danger at the house and I can't go back. So Tomas is the neighbor. Tomas is like, I'm letting you know that your daughter's in danger, her friends are in danger, and I'm in danger for even going to that house, and I'm not going back to it. For a little, this is getting a little spooky, let's say something nice. Okay, so the next quote in my little book right here is, if you don't place your foot on the rope, you'll never cross the chasm. Liz Smith. That's true. You gotta take a risk in order to get there. So I'm okay. Yeah, I like that. But okay, so yeah, poor Tomas, the neighbor who's just trying to watch out for everybody, is like taken over by like this severed head / arm, and like there's like an arm against him. It feels like Freddy's New Nightmare. There's like this arm while he's driving, and it causes him to crash his car. So Misha Barton, aka Samantha, gets scared of the sound of what she hears to be like groaning and a door slamming shut by itself. And then we cut to the mom of the protagonist, and she's like suddenly like just seizures out and dies. Like she just convulses on the floor, foam out the mouth, and then dies. So, yeah. Now Samantha's missing too. Meanwhile, Tina puts on lipstick. Because you gotta look good for death, right? If it's coming for your door, you wanna look pretty. Tina puts on lipstick. Oh, wait, no. What I was trying to say is, so Tina uses lipstick to paint a Ouija board on her body with all the letters and things. So she took her shirt off, she's got her bra on, and she's like painting out all the letters. So she's like, use me as the vessel to, you know, which is like, honey, no, we don't need to be doing that. But if that's how you feel, you may have had one too many Jaeger bombs. I don't know. And the guys are like kind of horned up by this. They're a little horny because they're like, ooh, we can play Ouija on someone's belly. We can play Ouija on her tits and her chest and her clavicle and all those parts. Okay, so they're using a rock because they don't have like the traditional like Ouija planchette for this situation. And so they're just using a rock to go from letter to letter. And the rock ends up kind of starting to move itself and going kind of crazy, and then it enters the mouth of Samantha and she starts choking on it. And they're all like freaking out, like, oh my god, like, how do we get this rock out of her mouth that just flew in there without anybody of us actually putting it in there? I guess she swallowed it because all of a sudden she's alive and she's able to speak again. So she must have got that big rock down her esophagus and into her stomach. I don't want to be the one who has to shit that one out, but okay. Blah, 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 blah. She alive. And they all like are like, let's take her to the hospital, or at least they try to, which is like the first like thing in the movie where it's like, okay, now you're actually doing something that makes sense. Like, we should be going to the hospital. Like, your friend just swallowed a rock. Let's get out of here. And then as they're driving, they drive in a circle around, and it keeps bringing them back to the house. So it's like they're caught in this like weird like loop labyrinth thing where they can't leave the premises no matter where they go. It just keeps bringing the car back to the house, which is super spooky. I like that concept, actually. I think it's one of the spookiest concepts there is in horror. It's been done. But, so yeah, I appreciated that. And then they're stuck there. So what's the solution? They decide, let's burn the Ouija board in the fireplace. This is why I got rid of my Ouija board and gave it to somebody else, because I was always afraid that if I tried to burn it or do something to it, it would show up the next day on my coffee table or something, which is totally crazy and it wouldn't happen, but I get superstitious like that, especially when I've had like strange experiences with a certain object. So I was just like, I just need to sell this to somebody else or give it to somebody else, because I don't want it in my life anymore. So whatever, yeah, they tried to burn the Ouija board in the fireplace. And then the neighbor, who I thought was dad, but I guess isn't, the neighbor from earlier who was like warning them all, he shows up like super dirty and he's like shirtless and with a gun, and he looks like he's been through it, you know. And he implores them to stay away from the Ouija board, especially in this house. Don't do it. And then he turns a gun on himself and kills himself. I mean, a bird doing that. He turns a gun on himself and kills himself. And then Tina starts having like severe pain, like beyond severe, like demonic pain, like the kind of thing that you would see in like The Exorcist, where it's like ah. And then Julie's like, let's get her back in the house, even despite everything we've been told. Honey, the last place you want to take someone who's being possessed by a demon is back inside the house where she got possessed by the demon. At least that's how I see it. Okay. So then Tina starts having severe pain, and you know, Julie's like, get her back in the house in spite of everything. And Tina goes to the window and she says something like, I can hear all the sacrificed babies. They're drowning out her head. She's like, all I can hear is the sacrificed babies. They're crying and they're in my ears. Alright, next page. Let's see. I was amazed that what I needed to survive could be carried on my back, and most surprising of all, that I could carry it. Cheryl Strayed. That may be a privileged outlook on life, but I'm okay with it. So yeah, they all start, so I don't know why they do this, but they get the inclination to be like, let's paint off the walls, and in doing so, they discover like letters and numbers, and their consensus is this house is one giant Ouija board, because behind all the paint, behind all the wallpaper, there are letters and numbers. So yeah, at this point, Tina's possessed like Evil Dead style. It's scary, and Samantha's also found dead. Mina Barton. Sorry, Mina. Misha Barton. It's nothing to you, Misha. It's just me being completely oblivious to everything outside of my own world. Don't worry about it. So yeah. And then, so they're like, kind of like figuring out, like, if we like tear down the walls, we're gonna figure out more to the story. However, in the meantime, you know, Tina's possessed and Samantha's dead, so the spirit whose name has made itself known through the walls and the Ouija board and all that is called Roka or Raka. It's Roka. That's the spirit name of whatever's causing this. And one of them says, this house is toying us to play this evil warlock's game. Clearly. And then there's like a voiceover flashback where the Coven originally killed this warlock. So he was killed, but his spirit lives on. And so, that happens. Lori justifies her family's decision not to burn the house because the curse is too strong. Somebody in her family was like, don't burn the house, the curse is too strong. I can't remember who that was in the movie. It happened along the way. And she's convinced that if they just play the game, then they can contain the evil. So they're like, let's just fucking play the game. Which is like what the Ouija board spelled out earlier, like play game. So it all kind of connects. Then Tina has like this crazy demonic moment, which reminded me from like, now I'm dating myself, but if you watch soap operas in the early 90s, there still is a show called Days of Our Lives. Marlena, one of the central characters, gets possessed by a demon. And I felt very much like Tina was having a Marlena moment. That's only gonna like matter or apply to some people, but it's like that if you remember that. And then Nick gets like locked in the bathroom and sees like a demon in the mirror. And then, and then like glass shatters. And I think the glass kills him because it's like all, and it hits his face and stuff. It's pretty disturbing. So now we're down to 2. We got Lori and Spencer. Spence. And so they're frantically searching for the T question mark. Okay, yeah, they're looking for, like, they think there's some kind of T causing all of this. I don't know where this comes from at all and why they would think T would be behind it, but when I say T, I mean T-E-A, T. I don't get it. And they're going through, like, the cabinets instead of the cupboards. Because, I mean, like, I have tea. I don't put it in my cabinet, I put it in my cupboard. Is that not normal? Because most people I know put their tea in their cupboard and not the cabinets. The cabinets are for, like, silverware and that sort of thing. So, why are you looking for tea in a cabinet? Is my question. Blah, blah, blah. And then possessed Tina is getting, like, all attracted to, like, the writing on the walls that have been peeled off and, like, the letters and the numbers. So these remaining 2 trying to survive try to cover up all the markings with, like, grocery bag paper. They're like, we're gonna use grocery bags and just cover it all up. Which actually, I think in this movie, actually works. Just like that. But, okay, so the next quote in my little book here. The next little quote in my little book comes from Tina Fey. I love her. And she says, you can't be that kid standing at the top of the water slide overthinking it. You have to go down. Hell yeah, dude. You do. You really do. And it's so much fun when you do. So, Nick appears like, Lori, this is all you. Tina says, Lori, help me, and Lori pulls out her heart. So now we're thinking, like, oh, Lori just been murdering everybody this time, but we didn't know that. Okay. So yeah, because once she reaches into Tina and pulls out her heart, and then, but then Tina strangles Lori despite having her heart pulled out. Like, she apparently has enough strength without a heart to strangle this bitch. I mean, it's full Evil Dead at this moment. People are just covered in blood. It's gory. It's obscene. And it's ridiculous. So, Tina tries to kill Spencer as well. And I think she's still possessed. So, like, yeah, she tries to kill Spencer, but then Lori this is what I wrote. But Lori covers up the last letter behind the paint newspaper. Okay, so Lori, despite being attacked, ran over with a piece of garbage bag and covered the last letter on the whatever's painted on the wall behind that. And then that seems to be the solution, apparently, which is kind of like, oh, God, really? I'll just take a moment. Here's where we end on. Lori is watching old times on like an old camcorder, and Spencer shows up like, hey, we made it out, and the police blame Tomas. Get over it. Oh, okay, so you're blaming this all on Tomas. And gonna continue to live your life. Got it. What's strange to me is that the mom, who we thought died, is still alive, and she says, she's like over the phone like, you done good, honey. And now nothing's making sense, because I'm like, didn't this bitch just kill everybody? Or why are you telling your daughter you done good, honey? I don't know. And so they kind of pull behind the wall that unleashes this like kind of strange Evil Dead side, like where like spirits are coming at you and it's all crazy. So you really don't know what to decide about the ending, because you know, one thing happens and another thing happens, so there's no really clear-cut answer. I'm okay with not having a clear-cut answer as long as it's a good movie, but this is a bad movie, and that's why I'm reviewing it right here on Bad Movie ASMR. Cut to credits. So, you know, love it, hate it. I didn't care for it, but that's life. If you enjoyed this, great. If you did not, okay, whatever. And thank you so much to just everyone who's awesome and being really nice and reaching out to me, because YouTube is a new thing for me. It's not something I really do, but I've had friends who are like, you should be on YouTube, like you have a personality, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, sure. So I'm giving it a try. In the meantime, I hope I haven't bored you, and I hope I don't sound so sour, but that's the way I talk. I have a sour way of speaking, even when I'm excited about something. So, anyway, yeah, thanks guys, and I really do appreciate you watching, and I hope you will continue to, and you know, share with your friends if they think they might be into it, and we'll go from there. All right.